I'm calling this the surprise challenge. I'm going to start with a story. The story comes from the book Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, in which he talks about a group of 4 individuals that were dining in his restaurant, Levin Madison Park in New York City, one noontime. And Will overheard them talking. They had their baggage next to them, so they were headed to likely LaGuardia or Kennedy Airport. And Will overheard them saying, "We've certainly enjoyed our New York City experience. We've had some fabulous food." And then one of them said, "But we've missed out on one experience. And that experience is getting a New York hot dog off the street, a New York hot dog from a vendor." So Will, overhearing this, decided to go outside, went across the street to his favorite hot dog vendor, bought 4 hot dogs, brought them back to the kitchen, gave them to the chef, asked him to put them on the plate and make them look nice. Chef probably thought he was crazy, but he did it, and Will brought them out to the customers. And to no one's surprise, they were blown away. They did claim that was the #1 New York City experience they ever had, and thanked Will when leaving the restaurant. I look back on some situations that I've been in and some surprises that I've received. One that comes to mind is a dry cleaner in Wichita, Kansas. In Wichita, going back to the 90s, as it turns out, you pretty much wore a dry clean shirt to work, perhaps even with a tie. So dry cleaning was a thing. So I drove by the dry cleaner one afternoon, pulled in, and the door opened and the owner came out. And he opened my back door and he hung the shirts that he had bought out for me, my shirts, on the hanger in the back of the car and started to leave. And I said, wait a second, I'll come on in and make a payment. And he said, no, not necessary, I'll get you next time. And I've told that story a ton of times, and I hope that dry cleaner continues to this day to prosper. Another story that's similar. Went to the dentist one morning. This is when I was in the restaurant. It's about 10 o'clock. Dentist did a bunch of work in my mouth. It was a new dentist. And I got home, and I was in the shower around 7 o'clock or so. My wife tapped on the shower door, and she said, "You have a call from Steve." I said, "Steve?" And she just handed me the portable phone. And I said, "Yes, hello, this is Bob." And he said, "This is Steve Reese, the dentist. Worked on your mouth this morning. You may have been uncomfortable. I was just checking in to make sure everything was okay." I told him that everything was fine and that I very much appreciated the call. And yes, you betcha, I told a lot of folks about Steve Reese and his dental work in Danbury, Connecticut. The third surprise that comes to mind was last week. I went to the dealership with my car, thought the transmission was slipping. In fact, I was very, very concerned that it was going to be an expensive fix. But the good news is it was ignition related and a hose that had been severed. So they fixed that, changed my brakes, fixed a molding on the back of the car, and I got home later that afternoon. When I got home, I noticed that the flap over the gas cap that had been uneven and a little bit floppy was exactly the way it was supposed to be. So I walked over, popped it open, and noticed that there was a brand new mechanism inside. So it wasn't something that I had told them about. Went inside, pulled the bill that I received out of the wallet, and I noted that there was nothing on the bill about the gas cap at all. So they didn't charge me, and they didn't even tell me about it. Those kinds of surprises make a really nice impression. Now, one of the surprises that worked well for me when I was in the retail and the rental business was I carried in my pocket small little figurines of dogs, which I called the Big Dog Award. They might have been a Dalmatian or a Golden Retriever or a German Shepherd or a Poodle, but they were small enough to fit in my pocket. And I would award them when I caught an employee, a coworker, a team member doing something special for the customers or perhaps for another team member. And I hope that some of those are on desks to this day, just reminding that person that when you do something special for a customer or a coworker, that you were rewarded for it and that you should be rewarded for it. So I am very interested in you letting me know what surprises you've encountered and what surprises you've created in your businesses. Please add them to the comments or email me, and please like and share this post.